Hello my peeps, and welcome back to Lore and Chill Part 3. Today we're going to be reacting to VaatiVidya's Prepare to Cry series. We're going to be doing Eileen the Crow, then Alfred the Vile Blood Hunter, and then we're going to finish it off with Father Gascoigne. It's 6 a.m. I'm doing this before work because I did promise it to you guys. Filming and editing the first episode of Dark Souls 1 took forever. And if you haven't checked that out, make sure to do so. It was a blast and it's the beginning of a whole new journey. So without further ado, let's jump into some Prepare to Cry. But I'm not going to because I'm dead inside. But anyways, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you. I got my little coffee here. It's nice, man. We're chilling and loring. God, so bad.
When the beastly scourge crept into Yharnam, the people responded with the hunt. With iron and fire, the populace rallied to purify this city. They fought alongside the hunters, who were talented warriors properly equipped to counter the beasts. Together, you would have thought that they'd stand a chance. Yet, when we arrive in Yharnam, something seems wrong. The hunt continues, but the populace has changed. The line between man and beast is blurred, and perhaps it was the bloodlust that the hunt inspired that further awakened that beast within man. The hunters become hated and feared, for they turned into the most terrible beasts. To prevent this from happening, there has always been a hunter of hunters, a hunter with the resolve to hunt former comrades who succumbed to their thirst for blood. Hunters of hunters dress as crows to suggest sky burial. I quote, "They hunt with the hope that former compatriots might be returned to the skies and find rest in a hunter's
Oh, that's
tree."
awesome.
Eileen is one of these hunters, and she was likely recruited when the hunter's workshop was still in its infancy. She wields the Blades of Mercy, forged with siderite, which is a rare mineral of the heavens.
Ooh.
This weapon and Gurman's burial blade are the only weapons of their kind.
That's really cool. And we actually got those weapons. I just didn't really try them. I would love to play with those in the next playthrough. That sky burial thing is super cool. I love that. Anyways, I miss Bloodborne.
They're masterpieces that defined the entire array of weapons crafted at the workshop. Eventually, the hunter's workshop was no longer needed, but Gurman went on to become a host of the hunter's dream and started to guide hunters into the waking world. Like us and many other hunters, Eileen visited the dream too. When a hunter of the dream dies in the waking world, their consciousness retreats to the hunter's dream. From here, it seems that they can set out and brave that night again. With the dream to sustain her, Eileen must have been a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Everyone needs something that they're good at, a skill, a talent. Eileen's skill was that she had the control to resist the intoxicating effects of the hunt and the ability to deal with hunters who were too far gone.
Woo.
When a hunter gave in to bloodlust, Eileen would swoop in and kill him or her before they could do any more damage. Her very unique hunts protected the other hunters from themselves, and she did this task until her age caught up with her, and even beyond that, because the Eileen we meet is very old indeed.
Oh.
But one day, she stopped dreaming.
Over time, countless hunters have visited this dream. The graves here stand in their memory. It all seems so long ago now. Farewell, good hunter. May you find your worth in the waking world.
I love how all of this footage has Eileen in it. I think it makes it so much better to look at because I am picturing just Eileen. So the reason why she actually died, oh, shut up. Well, I guess we don't know if she actually died because she just leaves. She just disappears, but I'm gonna guess that she died, but her body wasn't there, you know? So she must have gone away somewhere else, died there, if that's the case. But the reason why she died in the waking world is because this happened, right? Like, or else she would have just kept looping back into the dream. Like, that's cool. I like that. And that's what's going to happen to us technically with that ending, right? Even though obviously we go into New Game Plus, but technically once you get killed by Gurman, you're freed from it. So you're just going into the crazy night basically with one life. That's kind of how I understand it. I could be wrong. Let me know, but I find this all so cool, man. I'm not crying yet. What's going on?
No more dreams for me. This is my last chance.
So, like many other hunters before her, Eileen was freed from the
There we go.
dream. Gurman, host of the hunter's dream, granted her mercy. But did she go willingly, or did she simply outlive her usefulness? Whatever the case, we might never know. Eileen remains in Yharnam and continues her hunt, her purpose unfulfilled.
Oh, a hunter, are you? And an outsider? What a mess you've been caught up in. And tonight of all nights, prepare yourself for the worst. There are no humans left. They're all flesh-hungry beasts now.
Without the dream, Eileen's death is permanent. Yet still, she remains in Yharnam, proud, undeterred, and determined to hunt down every last hunter who poses a threat. But Eileen is one of the oldest characters we encounter.
She's like a mother figure. That's kind of how I saw Eileen. Like, she's kind of like that motherly figure of the game.
And without your help, she will perish in any assassination she attempts.
Good thing we helped her.
That wasn't necessary of you, but you have my thanks. We made it with our lives. You're not bad at all. You must have killed Gascoigne as well, then.
Yeah.
He was falling apart. I'm sure it had to be done.
I feel like his Prepare to Cry is going to be pretty wild. I already kind of have an idea of how it's going to go, but who knows, man. This guy is good. VaatiVidya is putting the most beautiful melody in the background, and it's going to make me cry. I'm kidding. Try not to cry challenge. We're not going to do it. But it's a very beautiful song. It's very fitting. Let's continue.
But try to keep your hands clean. A hunter should hunt beasts. Leave the hunting of hunters to me.
Yeah. What a badass.
Her pride is untouched, and she continues to place herself in harm's way.
Sad.
Oh. Is that you again? I'm afraid I've made a bit of a blunder. I'm just going to have a short rest. Though, don't worry. I've taken blood. Enough to save an old woman. But that thing still lies in wait. Turn back. This is my score to settle.
Nope. I will avenge you.
Eileen's trail of assassinations eventually leads her to the most powerful hunter in the waking world. People call him the Bloody Crow of Canehurst, but to Eileen, he is likely a former comrade and possibly one of Gurman's first apprentices. Let's note 3 things about him. 1, he wears the crow feather set as Eileen does, suggesting that he is, or was, a hunter of hunters. 2, he has mastered the art of quickening and dashes about with extreme speed, and this art is particular to the first hunters of the workshop. Indeed, we tease this art from a hunter's remains. Once, this hunter was likely an apprentice to Gurman, one of the first.
Right.
Thirdly, the Bloody Crow uses the weapons and armor of Canehurst, which is a faraway land ruled by a queen who craves the blood of hunters. He drops the Blood Rapture rune, which resonates with servants of the queen. Whoever he is, he seems to no longer see a purpose in hunting beasts. He and Eileen are not so different in that respect. In fact, Eileen could just as easily find herself in his place if you don't aid her on her journey, and she does. She becomes almost like the townsfolk of Yharnam, who see nothing but evil when they look at another hunter.
The beasts cannot be stopped! What good hunters now? Your blood is mine. You monsters. All hunters must die.
Sheesh. That fight, I'm so glad that we did it when we first encountered it. Died like 3 times. It was brutal. And then we went and did the DLC, so we came back and wrecked them in like 1 round. But dude, that fight was tough, man. Tough. Definitely the toughest hunter in the game. He kept healing, dashing. It was a nightmare. But I'm glad we got our revenge. After all, he did kill Eileen, and that is not okay. We don't let that shit slide.
You do aid Eileen, and she doesn't lose herself. She lies here on the steps, bloodied and broken after her fight, to pass along her duty to another hunter.
Don't you ever listen to your elders? No matter. You did save my life. I don't seem to be apt for this life anymore. My glory days were long ago now. I know. Here. For you. This too is hunter's work. But it bears no honor. A burden you may choose to carry. The decision is yours alone.
No!
My eyes grow heavy. Let me rest a while.
I should have stayed there.
After all this, you should be questioning the hunt. Many characters do. Its purpose is, of course, to hunt beasts, but it was the hunt itself that further awakened the beasthood within man. It's unleashed the blood-crazed hunters upon the world, men and women who, individually, can do more damage than any mere animal. And when all is said and done, when you have painted Yharnam with the blood of its men and women who turned into beasts, who did you really kill for? Is it really mercy that Gurman shows to those who exit the dream? Or are we removed because we came too close to the truth? After all, once you wake, it's difficult to remember what you dreamed about.
Damn. I never really thought about it like that. This guy, man. This guy. Jesus Christ. Alright, well, that's 1 out of 3 we didn't cry, so joke's on you, buddy. Yeah, let's watch Alfred's and then I'll give up all my thoughts in the end. We already loved Eileen, okay? I don't have to praise her. She's one of the coolest characters in the entire game. I'm so glad we did her whole quest line. That was incredible. Alright, Alfred, the Vile Blood Hunter.
First came the age of the Great Ones. They were mysterious, powerful beings, each one of them completely unique from the last.
Gross.
Then came the age of the Tumerians. The Great Ones once lived alongside the Tumerians, but eventually ascended to a higher realm, leaving the Tumerians behind. Finally came the Age of Man, a group of whom discovered the tombs of the Great Ones, and the Tumerians who now guarded them. These were the Byrgenwerth Scholars, a group devoted to seeking the truth. They burrowed deep into this world that they didn't understand, uncovering relics, rituals, and a race that had not been disturbed for a very long time. Most importantly, though, they stumbled upon a substance called the Old Blood.
Fear it.
This blood was incredibly powerful, as a transfusion with it could cure any illness. This blood split the ranks of the Byrgenwerth Scholars, for they could not agree on how it was to be used. The head of the Scholars, a man named Willem, believed that humanity would be undone by the blood. Our eyes have yet to open, he said, so we should fear it. Other scholars disagreed, probably thinking him cowardly. One man, Lawrence, was much more headstrong than his mentor. He disagreed with Willem, abandoned him, and went on to found the Healing Church, a society built upon the use of the Old Blood. But there was a third man who betrayed the Byrgenwerth Scholars. He stole what the scholars considered forbidden blood and took it far away to the nobles of Canehurst Castle.
Oh.
A man named Alfred tells us this.
The fuck? I didn't know he did that. Okay, no, I did read this dialogue. Sorry, I'm forgetting. I'm forgetful. That's hella cool, though. I had completely forgot that.
Once, a scholar betrayed his fellows at Byrgenwerth and brought forbidden blood back with him to Canehurst Castle. Right. It was there that the first of the inhuman Vile Bloods was born. The Vile Bloods are fiendish creatures who threaten the purity of the Church's blood healing. The ruler of the Vile Bloods is still alive today. And so, to honor my master's wishes, I search for the path to Canehurst Castle.
Okay, see, he didn't actually say that it was him that took it there. and I interpret it as like he's finding the path because he's never been there before. So we did read that dialogue, but I think I interpreted it in the completely wrong way.
The people of Cainhurst were proud and noble, with a society made up of 3 tiers. At the bottom were the servants and the knights.
Cool music.
Above them were the nobles, indulgent and arrogant. And above them all was one, the queen. This queen received the forbidden blood that was stolen from Byrgenwerth and became what Alfred calls a vile blood. From here, Cainhurst begins to parallel Yharnam in many ways. For example, beasts appear, which are dealt with by the Knights of Cainhurst. The Queen gives employ to hunters who hunt not beasts, but other hunters. These are her blood hunters, who seek blood dregs to feed their beloved queen, so that she may one day bear a child of blood.
Oh, that's cool.
The vile bloods become the sworn enemies of the church, for as far as we know, Yharnam and Cainhurst are the only 2 places with 2 different strains of the old blood. It was only natural that they would become rivals. So the church forms a group called the Executioners, headed by Master Ligarius. The Executioners were zealots, and existed for the sole purpose of destroying impurity wherever it was found. Through multiple generations, they searched for the vile bloods of Cainhurst Castle. Eventually, they found them, and departed in force to exact their vengeance.
In his time, Master Ligarius led his executioners into Cainhurst Castle to cleanse it of the vile bloods. But all did not go well, and Master Ligarius became a blessed anchor, guarding us from evil.
Master Ligarius, I think, is one of the coolest bosses that we've encountered yet. I was rewatching my fight with him the other day, and like, bro, his attacks, the music, like, and the lore. I mean, it's a really cool boss. It's a really cool boss. I just felt like saying that. Another note on Cainhurst Castle. Yes, it was extremely painful to get through, especially with the screaming ladies and the giant ticks and whatnot. It felt like I was in like a magical place while also being a horrific nightmare.
Tragic times. That Master Ligarius should be abandoned in the accursed domain of the vile bloods. I must free him, so that he may be properly honored in martyrdom.
Martyrdom. It's a tough word.
Problem is, Alfred does not know how to get to Cainhurst. Yet, in Yosefka's clinic, in the clinic where we first awoke, there's a curious invitation in the back room. An old bloodstained summons, inviting an honored guest to the forsaken Castle Cainhurst. Rather bafflingly, it is addressed to you.
I love reading that.
Perhaps it's why we even came to Yharnam in the first place. Do not hesitate. The stagecoach leaves from Hemwick Crossing. While we're in Cainhurst, we can attempt to clarify where good and evil lie. Ligarius, leader of the executioners, once said, "Acts of goodness are not always wise, and acts of evil are not always foolish, but regardless, we shall always strive to be good." But who is Ligarius to label good and evil? The world is not black and white, yet his judgment led to the slaughter of the people of Cainhurst. So, did these people deserve to be slaughtered? We arrive,
not.
And the first thing we notice is that the beasts here are different. Very few are wolf-like, like those in Yharnam, and in fact, they appear to have evolved according to their environment. Bloodlickers roam, bloating themselves on the corpses of the fallen that lie beneath the snow. And gargoyles imitate the architecture.
These were the worst, man. I kept missing them. They actually blended into the environment so goddamn well. They kept scaring the shit out of me, and we kept getting knocked off the building, man. It was brutal, bro. That episode was brutal now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe I take back what I said earlier.
Patiently waiting for their prey. In the halls of Cainhurst roam the ghosts of nobles, undying and ethereal. Upon the tallest tower of Cainhurst, we find Ligarius, alone. Ligarius and his executioners slaughtered every vile blood noble until one remained, the queen. To his despair, Ligarius discovered that the queen was immortal. She could be rendered, crushed, and broken, but there was always the threat that her flesh would reform. So he took the only option available to him. He donned the old king's crown, a powerful heirloom of Cainhurst. It allowed him to hide Cainhurst Castle and the Queen away from the
That's
world,
so messed up.
so that no one would ever stumble upon the last vile blood. We murder the withered Ligarius, and we are granted audience with Queen Annalise.
Visitor, I claim no subjects, but here lieth our throne. Kneel afore us, or get thee gone.
Oh, get thee gone.
Kneel. Visitor, moon-scented hunter. I am Annalise, Queen of Castle Cainhurst. Ruler of the Vile Bloods, and sworn enemy of the Church.
Nice.
Yet our people are murdered, and we are prisoner to this wretched mask. What is it thou art in search of?
Bye.
It appears that if you are invited to Cainhurst, you will always be able to find it.
Aha! Is that the sigil of
Yes,
Cainhurst?
sir.
I've heard tell of Cainhurst nobles and their amusingly pompous invitations. Wonderful. I thank you profusely.
Oh man, knowing what he's about to do really changes how you perceive that. His tone during this dialogue. That's crazy.
I feel my master's hand at work. Praise the good blood. And let us cleanse these
All right, Alfred,
tarnished
chill, man.
streets.
God damn. Sounding like a freaking...
The Order of the Executioners believe in martyrdom. That is, they believe in suffering or dying for a holy cause. Martyr Ligarius suffers here on his frozen throne to keep the world safe from a perceived
Yeah, that's
evil.
dedication, bro.
But it cannot be considered absolute martyrdom, for the Queen remains alive, as does Ligarius. Alfred deeply desires to kill this woman, and perhaps even his master as well. These deaths would allow his idol to pass into legend as a true martyr who died for the greater good.
Cool.
Master, look! I've done it! I've done it! I smashed and pounded and grounded this rotten siren into fleshy pink pulp. There, you filthy monstrosity! What good's your immortality now? Try stirring up trouble in this sorry state.
Damn.
All mangled and twisted, with every inside on the outside for all the world to see.
Gross. Damn.
You, is it?
Look how he switches up.
Look at this. Thanks to you, I've
Oh,
done
do
it.
not put this on me, brother.
Well, isn't it wonderful? Now Master can be canonized as a true martyr.
Crazy.
Ironically, Alfred coming here and killing the Queen would have run counter to Ligarius's wishes. The Queen is undying, so without a guardian, there is always the risk that she could rise again.
Man, Alfred must have been pissed that we brought the Queen back.
That is why
all
Ligarius
that.
stood guard here for all these years. Yet, of course, acts of goodness are not always wise. So Alfred kills himself
Oh, he
so
killed
that he can
himself.
become a martyr, along with his beloved master. And as Alfred lies dead, we take the flesh of the Queen and resurrect her
Yeah.
in a world now devoid of executioners, so that the vile bloods may rise again.
Well, well. An odd hunter thou art indeed. We've tired of these piteous nights. Share in our plight, and take oath against the Church.
Yeah.
Drink deep of our blood. Feel the spreading corruption burn.
Did we get that dialogue, bro? I don't remember if we did. I went back to see her, but...
Thou art too a vile blood,
Oh my god, did I miss that dialogue? I need to go
Me too.
back. I don't think I did.
the very last on this earth.
No, I think we got it.
We await thy return. For the honor of Cainhurst.
Nice. Oh, I love that one. You know what? I did figure that Alfred had, offed himself, but knowing why he did it now, it's really, really cool. I honestly didn't put together that whole martyr situation. I gotta say, man, these dialogues hit so hard when there's like really good music behind it. It kind of makes me wish that these games put some more music in there, like, not just for bosses. Might just be my thing, but I don't know. The dialogues feel a lot more. I mean, it's also probably because I understand 100% what they're saying because of all the context, the way VaatiVidya like kind of puts everything together. But yo, the music really hits, man. I really like listening to music while people talk. It really, I like it. That's 2 in the bag. Still no tears, man. What's going on here? What's happening? That leaves us to now Father Gascoigne. This one's gonna hurt, man. I know it. I know this one's gonna hurt. Let's do this.
When the old blood was found, it must have been thought a miracle. They called it the blood of the gods, and rightly so, for if you injected it into your veins, you would no longer be afflicted by the weaknesses of the flesh. It follows that a city built upon this blood would become mighty indeed, and so it was with Yharnam. The supply of the blood was controlled by the healing church, and the church became the most powerful of all. But the blood was foul, infected. Those who had taken the old blood began transforming into hideous beasts, and eventually the church could keep the scourge a secret no longer. Fearing the populace itself, they retreated into Cathedral Ward and devised a plan to fight back. The church hunters were that plan. The hunters in white specialized in experimental blood ministration, for the church continued to use the old blood, albeit now with fear in their hearts. And the hunters in black were a little different. Their role was to violently purge this town of the beastly scourge. Beasthood was a cancer, and with their surgical white gloves, the black church hunters would rip the beasthood from the hearts of the Yharnamites. They were known to dispose of victims, even potential victims, before signs of sickness had even manifested themselves. Their black attire inspired fear in the hearts of the Yharnamites, for if they decided that you had the beast within you, then it was so. But the beast lies dormant within us all, and ironically, the clerics transformed into the most terrifying beasts. Father is a title used for clerics in a foreign land, and the healing church knew no such rank. An outsider, Father Gascoigne joined the ranks of the Black Church hunters. Perhaps he, like many others, was sick and needed treatment. Perhaps he saw the miracles that the church was performing, actual miracles that could have inspired a new faith in the man. Or perhaps it was the thirst for blood that drew him here, for Gascoigne turned out to be a truly capable hunter, a fine addition to the ranks of the church. Gascoigne was partnered with another, an older hunter by the name of Henrique. Capable beyond his years, this old man was easily recognizable in his unique yellow garb. Its description tells us that they were a fierce and gallant duo, but also that their partnership led to Henrique's tragically long life. He must have been very old indeed to be tragically so. Perhaps Gascoigne's access to the church granted Henrique access to the old blood, and it's possible that the miraculous blood granted him life beyond his years. Who knows what that can do to a man? Together, Henrique and Gascoigne were a part of the effort to purge Yharnam of the scourge. Just two more hunters doing what hunters must, for the good of the city, of course. Gascoigne even found love outside the church's walls within central Yharnam. A woman named Viola, blonde and favouring a bright red brooch. Perhaps the jewel was a gift from a hunter. Imagine being a man of Yharnam during this time.
I'd be
Put
shitting
yourself
myself
in this
24/7.
As a good Yharnamite would, you join the nightly hunt with your brothers, fighting against the scourge. You lock your women and children safely at home, with incense at their doors to ward away the beasts. You fight alongside the Black Church hunters, though these men of the church are watching you at all times for any signs of the plague. You fight alongside those who would kill you if they had to. In time, Viola fell pregnant. Soon after, Gascoigne left the healing church. Perhaps he had something more important to him now.
Who are you? I don't know your voice, but I know that smell. Are you a hunter?
Family must have pulled him away from the church, and on the night of our unending hunt, we find this young girl alone in her family's home.
Please we look for my mum. Daddy never came back from the hunt, and she went to find him. But now she's gone too. I'm all alone and scared.
Oh, shit.
We're looking for a woman with a red brooch and a man garbed in black. Imagine being Gascoigne at this point in the story. An ex-hunter of the Healing Church, he still wears the tattered black garb that shows how faithfully he served the church in their hunt. And tonight, the hunt is worse than any night before it. Tonight, the line between man and beast is blurred. The beast men of Yharnam cry for death to their ministers, if they see you wearing the minister's garb.
Whoa.
This is the exact same thing Gascoigne was wearing. It's unclear exactly what happened in the tomb of Erden, but here we find Father Gascoigne, surrounded by the corpses of fellow Yharnamites, hacking them to pieces, completely lost to his thirst for blood. On a rooftop nearby, we find his wife, dead.
My mum wears a red jeweled brooch. It's so big and beautiful, you won't miss it. Oh, I mustn't forget. If you find my mum, give her this music box. It plays one of Daddy's favourite songs. And when Daddy forgets us, we play it for him so he remembers. Mum's so silly running off without it.
A small music box received from a young Yharnam girl plays a song shared by her mother and father. Inside
so
the lid
sad,
is
bro.
a small scrap of paper, perhaps an old message. 2 names can be made out, however faintly: Viola and Gascoigne. When we play their song, the husband recoils in agony. Gascoigne is losing himself to the beastly scourge. He wants to forget, but the music reminds him of his wife, his children, his city, his humanity, his dead wife, his broken city, his despair. His wife is likely dead at his hand, for she didn't have their music box to remind him of who he was,
True.
as she had done many times before. Gascoigne is beyond saving, and you end his suffering. It almost sounds as if his last words are, "Forgive me."
Oh, shit.
We don't have the heart
Oh, it
to
just
give a
gave me
child her
goosebumps.
dead mother's brooch. Instead, we send her to Erden Chapel. She can't stay in this house alone, for neither her mother nor her father is coming back for her. Better to send her to a
The
safe
pain
place.
continues.
Hello, Miss Hunter. Still can't find my mum. Oh, okay. I can wait. But isn't there something I can do? Maybe Mum and Dad are stuck out there, waiting for me to come and find them.
No.
What do you think, Miss Hunter?
We send her to Erden Chapel.
Yes, okay. Thank you, Miss Hunter. I love you almost as much as Mum and Dad. And Granddad.
She never appears there.
Fuck.
Trace
too
the
early for
path
this,
she
man.
would have taken. Imagine this little girl creeping through a sewer filled with crawling corpses and carrion crows, to run past it all and come so close to the chapel, only to spy this thing at the end of the tunnel. It eats the little girl, and after your revenge, you find the bloodied
So
white
messed
ribbon
up, bro.
upon its
This
remains.
is how the game started. To shit.
You haven't by any chance seen my little sister, have you?
Oh yeah, what was this all
Someone
about?
did come back for the little girl. Turns out Gascoigne had 2 daughters, and you just sent one to her death.
I told her to look after the house, but she's run off somewhere. She's still quite small, and wears a big white ribbon. Have you seen her out there anywhere?
She just wanted the ribbon.
Oh, how did this happen? Why would she ever go outside? At least I'll have something to remember her by.
Cue the creepy laugh.
The truly sad thing is, a friend of the family was waiting at Erden Tomb around this time. The one the littlest daughter calls Grandad. He could have met the youngest daughter there, had the pig not consumed her in the tunnel. Instead, Henrique goes mad here in this place. Perhaps he discovered that someone killed his friend, or perhaps, since the littlest daughter calls him Granddad, he discovered the corpse of his daughter, Viola.
Oh, shit!
Perfect timing. I must warn you not to go near the tomb below Erden Chapel in the Cathedral Ward. Henrik, an old hunter, has gone mad.
Henrik was the grandfather.
And he's my mark.
When we arrive, we're already too late. As with Gascoigne, loss pushes Henrique over the edge. We've seen that hunters turn into terrible
This is such
beasts,
a fun fight.
so the hunter must become the hunted.
That wasn't necessary of you, but you have my thanks. We made it with our lives. You're not bad at all.
Thank you.
You must have killed Gascoigne as well, then. He was falling apart, I'm sure it had to be done. But try to keep your hands clean. A hunter should hunt beasts. Leave the hunting of hunters to me.
Jesus Christ.
Gascoigne killed his wife.
No!
We killed Gascoigne.
Yes!
Henrique tried to kill us, so Eileen killed
Yes!
Henrique. The last surviving daughter throws herself off a ledge upon receiving her sister's bloodied ribbon, and the bloodline of Gascoigne ends here.
Wait, so the old sister wasn't
However,
evil?
somewhere, in another hunt perhaps, you never spoke to the littlest daughter. She never went looking for her parents. She never travelled down this tunnel. She stayed home until her sister returned, and they huddled together until
How
morning
nice.
I won't be afraid. I know. I do. The morning always comes.
The morning always comes. I love that. Damn it! Too many emotions for this early, man. Thoughts. I didn't put two and two with Henrik being Viola's dad and grandfather stuff, and so cool, man. I'm really glad I watched this, to be honest. It gave me a whole new perspective on Father Gascoigne, and I thought the older sister was evil because of that laugh she gave when she received the ribbon. But now I feel like that was just, maybe it wasn't a laugh, maybe it was more of a cry, like she just felt uncomfortable, sad. You know, some people cope with things a little bit different. But yeah, then she jumps off a ledge and dies, which is kind of like, what the fuck? Yeah, we didn't cry, but internally I did. But I didn't physically cry, but I felt a lot of the emotions, man. These characters go a lot deeper than some might think, and it just takes a guy like VaatiVidya to kind of put it together for you with a nice little bow on top. And all right, no, I'm reading the comments, and I am correct. Sister's evil, man. I always thought they were sisters until I got this dialogue I had missed so many times. The older girl pretends to cry until you walk away and hear, "What a perfect ribbon, and now it's mine. I can't wait to try it on." Right? Yes. Now you could write it off as she's just insane, like most Yarnamites, and becoming, but the fact she says, "What a perfect ribbon," implies that she's never been so close to the ribbon or held it herself. It makes sense. The first little girl never mentions a sister and even lists off a bunch of people she loves, right? The second girl only arrives after you've sent the first to Cathedral Ward or the clinic. I think that the second girl lives in one of the two houses at the bottom of the ladder. The first little girl had to have went through there. So the second girl sees her leave and makes her way to Gascoigne's house, looking for the ribbon. And when you get there, she lies about being her sister so she won't get in trouble. Yo, that's obviously what it is. After giving her the ribbon, she cleans the blood from it and tries to sneak back to her home, but can't avoid the troll coming down the ladder. This also makes sense because if you run past the troll, if you can go up the ladder before he can hit you, but if you're coming down the ladder, he's liable to hit you right as you come off. Oh shit! This is good. I think this theory falls in line with the whole theme of deception in this game from the NPCs, like Yosefka's imposter and the suspicious beggar. Anyway, we'll never know for sure, all according to Miyazaki's plan. Yo! I'm a stan. I stan this comment 100%. Dev team, so how much suffering do you want in the story? Miyazaki, yes. Whoa, you're practically a born narrator. Your voice is so calm yet serious. It's just so narrative. Yeah, I agree. We don't have the heart to give a child her dead mother's brooch. Speak for yourself. I was expecting a fat reward. I was too, man. From Software lore in 2 sentences. Even when you try to do good, you ruin people's lives. Have fun, you monster. And that is very true, man. I don't think Gascoigne killed Viola. Look at her. She's not exactly been mauled. If anything, it looks like someone shot her or stabbed her. That is true. Gascoigne uses a shotgun and swings an axe in wide arcs. Her corpse would show evidence of multiple bullets or wide cuts if Gascoigne had killed her. That is so true. No, Gascoigne didn't kill her. The Yarnamites did. Gascoigne finds her body and those responsible. This pushes him over the edge. He goes berserk, slaughtering the Yarnamites, hacking them to pieces, giving into his inner beast. We arrive to find Gascoigne too far gone. The music box reminds him of who he was and who he lost. However, it cannot break the grip of the beast, because at the same time as it calls to the real Gascoigne, it reminds him of the woman he loved and her senseless murder driving him back into a frenzied rage. Shout out the comment section on these videos, man. That's why I like to incorporate them into these lore and chill videos, because I like to see other people's perspectives, and this is actually more in line with how I picture things, so I'm glad I'm not crazy. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, what you think about each character, and let me know which lore and chill you'd like to see next. Some of you are asking for Maxer's Elden Ring videos, which I'm super excited to watch. So let me know if you're interested in that, and any other ones, leave them down in the comments below. I'm gonna go to work now. I appreciate you for being here. Take care of yourself, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.